Hello, everyone. I have a pretty huge book haul today. This is for the month of September. These are all the books I added. Most of these are used. I have some pretty great stuff here, and a lot of these I'm still buying because I'm trying to collect the best of the New York Times list and also the Reader's Response list and other lists that I've been trying to collect books off of. So I'm going to get started. I bought these two brand new off of Amazon. These are books 2 and 3 in the Dune graphic novel series. I have book 1, which I have not yet read, but I really do want to get into Dune. I did read the book a couple years ago and I didn't really like it, but it's an important franchise, so I do want to try to make more of an effort. And maybe after finishing these graphic novels, I can maybe read the book again and like it better. It's an interesting concept, so I'd like to join in the Dune cult or whatever fan club. I got Endgame and Act Without Words by Beckett. This is a play. I read Waiting for Godot last year and I really enjoyed it. So I'm excited to find more by Beckett. I also got Thomas More's Utopia, which I've been wanting to reread. It's been referenced in some of the books I've been reading recently, so I wanted to get a copy. Plus, I do think I did read this in college, when I was taking my political science classes. So hopefully that'll be familiar. And these are cliff notes for Utopia and the Beckett play. I got this book from the publisher yesterday, and this is a book I won through Goodreads, White Robes and Broken Badges. This looked very interesting, exposing the KKK. This is exactly the type of book I think I would enjoy, so I'm looking forward to getting into this one. I got Moneyball. This is a Michael Lewis book, and I think this is probably the best rated Michael Lewis book of all time. And I got this because it was on the list, and now I have it, and I am really looking forward to this because it's extremely well rated. I got The Uninhabitable Earth, Life After Warming. This is another global warming book that I can add to my collection of global warming books that I have not read. But yeah, I do want to become more well versed in that topic, because I really don't know as much as I want to about global warming. I got a book by Ta-Nehisi Coates, The Beautiful Struggle. I've read a bunch of books by him so far, and I really enjoyed them. He's one of my favorite authors, and this looks like a memoir. So I didn't know this book existed, but it's well rated, and it's his memoir. So I'm excited to read that. I was actually looking for his other book, Between the World and Me, which I read a few years ago, and then I ended up unhauling it just because it was so short. But now I've been wanting to reread it and get another copy. But in the meantime, I can read this one. This is a weird buy. I don't know why I bought this. I thought it was The Innovator's Dilemma, and then I guess I misunderstood the title. This is his follow-up book, The Innovator's Solution, and I was just going to get rid of it because I think this book was only like 50 cents or less. I bought a huge stack at this one thrift store for like $2, and this was in it. So I spent very little on this, but when I started reading the reviews, people said this was really good, so I might as well hold on to it and maybe give it a shot, because it is very well rated and recommended. His other book, though, The Innovator's Dilemma, is the famous book that is on a lot of lists. I got The Astronaut's Wives Club. This one I did read before a couple years ago, and I think I sort of enjoyed it. It was kind of a fun book. So when I saw another copy of it at the thrift store, it was so cheap. So I just grabbed it. It's really badly rated now that I look into it, but I do kind of remember reading it and kind of enjoying it, so we'll see. I'll give it another shot. This is a guide to reading Middlemarch, a student's companion to the novel. I haven't read Middlemarch yet, but I plan to. And this was at a thrift store, so I just picked it up. This book, Becoming Earth, I was hanging out with some of my friends, and one of my friends was talking about this book that she was reading and how extremely interesting it was. So I ordered it on Amazon that night when I got home. So Becoming Earth. This is a new book. I think it just came out, and it's all about like life, like microscopic life maybe. Life, environment, the rocks, just understanding the earth a little better. The way she described it was really interesting to me, so I just really wanted to get a copy and enjoy it as well. I got Stephen Hawking's A Memoir of Friendship and Physics by Leonard Mlodinov. I think I've been wanting this book for a while, so I found a pretty nice copy of it for very cheap at a thrift store. And then I have this book by Barack Obama, which I didn't even know existed. I thought I had all the books on Barack Obama. So every time I find one that I don't have yet, I'm always very surprised and excited. But this author won the Pulitzer Prize at some point for something he wrote. And this book is very well rated. And I'm excited that there's a book out there that I haven't read yet about Barack Obama. So yay. This is The Social Conquest of the Earth by Edward O. Wilson. I did read another book by Edward O. Wilson last year, and I had a really hard time with it. It was very complicated. But this book is one of the 100 notable books of the New York Times Book Review of the year. So maybe this will be a little more accessible. I think it's very similar topic than the other book that I wrote, which I think is all about the meaning of life. That was it. That actually might be the book he won the Pulitzer Prize for. That was hard to read, but this book I'm looking forward to because he has some interesting concepts about humanity. I got Transcendent Kingdom by Yaa Gyasi. This I do have her other book Homegoing, which I haven't read yet, but the plot of this one sounded really nice. This is about a 6-year PhD candidate in neuroscience at Stanford. So that sounded right up my alley. I got the Prestige. Sorry, the cover's a little confusing. I watched this movie with Hugh Jackman. Was it Hugh Jackman? I think so. And Edward Norton, maybe. I feel like there were two movies that came out at the same time about the same plot. I forget exactly who the actors were, but I remember really liking it, so I was excited to find the book, and it won a World Fantasy Award. So I remember the movie was really, really interesting, so I wanted to grab the book. This book's been coming up on a lot of favorite, fantasy lists, so I do want to get into fantasy. I have been reading strictly old novels, classics, prize winners, kind of serious stuff. So and I've slowly been starting to add more fun fantasy books to my reading lists, and I'm sometimes I enjoy them. So I do want to just kind of branch out from my comfort level and try new things. So this is one of those books I got. And then another one is Red Rising that also comes up on a lot of lists. So I grabbed a copy of that. And Schindler's List. Okay, this is one of those books that I've just been terrified of. I am just absolutely petrified. So I decided, just like Sophie's Choice and We Need to Talk About Kevin, I wanted to grab this book and give it a read and kind of train myself to read more disturbing things and learn how to deal with things, maybe kind of my own little mental health journey. Don't know if I'm ready for The Boy with the Striped Pajamas yet, but we'll see. And then very exciting find, I got books 2, 3, and 4 of the My Brilliant Best Friend series. So I read book 1, I got book 2 last month in a haul, and then found 3 and 4. So this was a great find. Really like the series. I got Deacon King Kong by James McBride. This was one of those books that was featured in the New York Times lists, so I wanted to get a copy of that. And this is John le Carré's The Constant Gardener, which I think was in the Guardian's 100 Best Books list. So that's why I grabbed that one. And then same thing with Life After Life. This one was on the New York Times list. So I wanted that. And then I don't know, I grabbed this one. It's an Oprah Book Club 2008 selection. It's really badly rated. So I don't know if I'll end up liking it. Maybe I will. Maybe I'll really like this book, but we'll see. It's very, very big. So we'll see. But it was there, and I think I really wanted a book at this one store, so it was in very good condition. This is another random book I got, The Sound of the Mountain. Looks like a Japanese classic, modern Japanese classic, and the author won the Nobel Prize. Oh, well, that's exciting. I actually didn't know that. Yes, this is a Nobel Prize winning author. Okay, well, I'm glad I got it then. I hope it's good. And this is an Agatha Christie book, Evil Under the Sun. I've read a lot of her really famous books. I haven't read some of the less famous books, which this one is less famous, I think. But I'm excited for it because I always enjoy her work, especially her collection of Miss Marple short stories. That was amazing. This is How to Live Safely in a Science Fiction Universe. This one's been on my radar for a while now. It keeps coming up. I don't know if it's going to be good. The cover's really cute, and I think it's young adult, so we'll see. Hopefully I'll like it. This is another random book I picked up. Grief is the Thing with Feathers. I thought this was poetry, but this might be a novel. I don't know. It's very, very short. So we'll see. And then another Terry Pratchett find. I am just finding so many Terry Pratchett books recently. So this is, every time I grab one of these, I'm so excited because more Terry Pratchett. This is Night Watch. So this author right here, Sergei Lutyenenko, he has said some pretty horrible things in the media, and he's been kind of canceled. He's a very pro-Putin, anti-Ukraine, outspoken writer. So the only reason I grabbed this book was because I really liked the movies that came out many years ago, and I didn't buy this book new. I bought this book used at a thrift store for like 25 cents or 50 cents. So if anything, I'm supporting the thrift store. But and I didn't know this author said such controversial things when I bought the book. Only when I came home and entered the book into my database and started seeing the reviews did I realize who this author was. I still kind of want to check it out because I don't really like canceling authors without giving them a chance. It just goes against my beliefs. But yeah, this author is really problematic, and I'm interested to see if any of that will come out in the book. But again, I did not buy this book. This is a used book. I did not support this author directly. This is Clytemnestra. This book I got out of a free library a couple days ago, and it's extremely well rated. So that was a fun find, and it looks like almost new. And then this book I read, this is Hamnet. I read this a couple years ago. I thought it was okay. I didn't like it as much as everybody else liked it. So I ended up giving away my copy. But when this book was on the New York Times list, or I forget, it was on somebody's list, either Reader's Response or some YouTube list, or I forget. It came up on a list, so I wanted to just grab a copy and read it again. It's definitely more entertaining than Bill Bryson's Shakespeare book. So if anyone wants to speculate about Shakespeare, maybe that's the best way to go. This is another book I read several years ago that I didn't love. I did love Gentleman in Moscow by this author, Amor Towles, but I did not love Rules of Civility. I felt like it was like a Great Gatsby type book, but it wasn't as good as Great Gatsby. I don't know. And then also, I didn't like The Lincoln Highway at all. So I don't know. We'll see. I think I just got the newest book he wrote from the library, A Table for Two. We'll see if I like that one. But yeah, Gentleman in Moscow, it's time to reread that one. I remember that book was phenomenal. And maybe I'll like Rules of Civility more the second time around. This is a compilation of Northern Lights, Subtle Knife, and Amber Spyglass. I've read the first book and I didn't like it at all, but I do want to reread it because I don't think I gave it a chance because this series is so beloved and famous, and I think that was my bad for not liking it. So, and then I know the Amber Spyglass was on the top lists, so that one was on my radar. So I just grabbed this book. It was nice. It's very pretty, and it has all 3 books inside. So I'll replace the other copy that I have. And then Razzle Dazzle, The Battle for Broadway by Michael Rydell. I read his other book, Singular Sensation, and I liked it a lot. This book is very different. This is more like the history of, what is it? It's just the history of Broadway. The other one was kind of just, each chapter was on a different musical and how it was put together. This one is more specific, and I'm enjoying it. Maybe not enjoying it as much as the other book, but since I do audition for so many plays and musicals, and I'm so active in the community theater, I wanted to read more books on Broadway and kind of understand where these musicals are coming from. So any information I can pick up is beneficial. So I'm enjoying this book. It's interesting. It's a lot of corruption. It's crazy how many bad things happened. Financial crimes. And then finally, I got The Rise and Reign of Vladimir Putin, the New Tsar, and I did start reading this already. I'm trying to read as much as I can about Vladimir Putin to really understand him, especially with what's going on in Russia right now, in Ukraine, and the media. Just to understand, I think understanding things makes me feel better. And this is a pretty good book. It feels very non-biased and just gives us the facts so I can become more well-versed political analyst, I guess, a layperson. But it's definitely better to get yourself familiar with difficult topics and just ignore them and read the news. Anyway, so that's my book haul for the month of September. And I did film a 100-book unhaul a couple days ago, so my shelves are so much lighter, and I'm excited to put these books in their spots and maybe try to buy less next month. I am going to be busy. I did just get cast in Music Man, which is going to be a really huge musical. And I'm really excited. My daughter got cast as Amaryllis, which is really cool. So I'm excited to see her perform that role. And so I'm going to be busy for the next month or so. And it's going to be fun. Well, thank you for watching.